Hey, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. Don't forget the show is brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report. You go there, you sign up for free, you get a free audiobook. And that helps support the show. Let's see, we got a little business we can take care of before the after show. Let's see. Okay, oh yeah, one thing, I want to welcome all the new listeners we picked up because I was on Clyde Lewis this week. I don't remember what day it was. I think it was Wednesday or something. They called me at the last minute, and I went on there. I did the 2 hours on the Epstein case. And I know we picked up a lot of listeners from there because they're all following me on Facebook, and we got a ton of hits to all the blogs and stuff like that. So I just want to thank Clyde Lewis for having me on, and let me talk about the Epstein case, which I'm getting more and more involved in every day, and working on that. And we just added a couple of new stations. We added Late Night in the Midlands on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's the old Mike Vara station. And they've been around a long time. It's 8 years old. They've been doing an internet radio station. And I'm really honored to be allowed on there with my podcast on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. We were also picked up by High Point Radio. They're in New Jersey, and they're both on AM and FM. They're going to be playing the podcast. I'm not sure which day yet, but we're picked up there. And they're in New Jersey, but it also covers a bit of New York and Pennsylvania. So I'm pretty sure we're starting on that this week. And then there was one more. People's Internet Radio. They're in Ireland. And they picked this up. I don't know what day we're going to be playing on there, but they're going to start playing this too. I did an interview on there last week with Kira Young, who's a really wonderful woman, real workhorse, out there fighting a good fight. And she has a show on there. It's called On the Bridge with Kira Young. Very cool. And she had me on there, and I was on fire, man. I don't know what came over me. I was upset about something, just going on and on. And so, People's Internet Radio, I guess they liked my ranting and raving, and they picked us up with me playing our podcast over there as well. Now, one more thing, okay, is that the Reader's Choice Awards of My Vegas magazine, okay, you go to myvegasmag.com, /Reader's Choice Awards. Believe it or not, yours truly was nominated as the 100 most successful men in Las Vegas. I think it's mostly due to this show. It's the only thing I'm pretty much doing these days that's successful. And so you can go there and you can vote for me. And they ask for an email of what my email address is. So give them oppermanreport@gmail.com. And I know we're getting a lot of votes over there. I can tell. We even got some insiders over there working over the magazine that are helping us out. Oh, okay, coming up. On February 17th, between 5 and 7 p.m. Pacific time, I think, I'll be on Max Resistance Roundtable. That's maxresistance.com. And I guess we're doing like an interview, but it's also like a roundtable with a whole bunch of people just talking about all different kind of topics. Now, tonight we had Dr. Judith Reisman, Stolen Honor, Stolen Innocence, How America Was Betrayed by the Lies and Sexual Crimes of a Mad Scientist, Sexual Sabotage, How One Mad Scientist Unleashed a Plague of Corruption and Contagion on America, Kinsey, Crimes and Consequences, The Red Queen and the Grand Scheme, Soft Porn Plays Hardball, Its Tragic Effects on Women, Children, and the Family, Kinsey, Sex and Fraud, The Indoctrination of a People. Now, you can find all those links to those books on the Opperman Report blog. Hey, we're down to the last 10 minutes. So, guys, we have the quickly walking turtle, who is quicker than a turtle, and Scott Hare, who is slower than a hare. So why don't we have you guys both come on and give a plug for your show?
Okay, I'll take it first.
There you go.
Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Awake Radio Network. That's awakeradio.us. You will find Where the Wild Things Grow. And then on Sunday, we have the Brain Gym starting at noon Central Standard Time. And then Monday, we have Turtle Talk starting at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks.
Okay, great. Scott?
I didn't exactly follow that comment, but I resemble that remark.
Well,
Crossing the Void Radio, of course, comes on Wednesday nights on the Hazy Radio Network. This week, my guest is Nicole Strickland and I believe Matt Schultz from the San Diego Paranormal Research Society. We are going to be talking about all the hauntings and historical greatness of the RMS Queen Mary out there in Long Beach. And it's an unbelievable ship. The ship has only been searched paranormal-wise. I think only about 15% of it has actually been searched. So it's going to be a great show. She's written a book, Haunted Queen of the Seas, which is one of the best references for the ship. So I hope you guys will listen to the show. And my other show, the Indie Sessions, will be coming up here very, very shortly. I've been doing some retooling of it, and it should be coming up here hopefully next month. We'll get that show going as well.
Hey, coming up after this on Hazy, I know that Clarissa has some big shot coming on, right? Some big TV person?
Yeah, I just had the name and I lost.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking it up right now, too.
Hang on. I'll get it.
Because my computer's so slow.
I'll get it. I'm sure I'll get it.
Okay, relax. But Clarissa has a big guest tonight. It's from some TV show that involves the paranormal.
It's Amy Allen from the Dead Files.
Ooh, okay, spooky. Dead Files. Okay, great. All right, and that'll be on Hazy. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you want to hang out and watch the Hazy, Dead Files kind of stuff, that's great. Otherwise, we'll still be on Awake and all those stations doing the after show. So we'll be dropping PSN, Talk Superstation, and Hazy Radio. But we'll be doing the after show. You know, the regular guys will call in. Hey, by the way, we need some callers. Call in at 702-605-4894. Or you can Skype me at ed.opperman to continue this discussion about the Kinsey Report. Hopefully some guys said they were going to call in. What's his name? William Ramsey said he might call in. Good old Josh. Hey, guess what? Josh Brookshire. You know what he's doing right now? Right now he's out there. He's doing a live gig at a house party, and what he's doing is he's playing the Opperman Report to the party with some jazz music in the background, okay? Now that's that's an artist, man, okay? I love this guy. So Josh, man, we miss you. I miss your calls, brother. Because I love it when you call in. And good old Mike Ray always calls in, and we're hoping that good old Nanaman, Mr. Nanaman, will call in tonight too and contribute what he knows about this whole thing, about this Kinsey case. I did a little research on it myself today, and I tell you, I was really oh man, I forgot to ask Dr. Reisman about her work with Captain Kangaroo. She was actually involved with the Captain Kangaroo show, and what happened was she used to write jingles for them or something like that, and they did some kind of an advertising study, and they found that the kids were not paying attention enough during her jingles, and they told her that she had to change it up and make it more interactive with the kids. Because they weren't as hypnotized by the show and the advertisements as they should have been. So that's a whole other interesting aspect of her life. But I'm going to be getting in touch with her in person. Next week we got coming up. We're doing a couple of We're doing a Paul is Dead show from the Beatles. And is Paul McCartney dead? Was he swapped out with a double? Did he die in a car crash? All that kind of stuff. I have my own theories on the subject. We're having two guests come on. Forget their names, but they are Paul is Dead subjects. Let's see. One is named Martha Soren. She wrote a book, and she's been researching Paul is Dead for about 9 years, she says. And the other one is Tina Foster, and she's part of the Plastic Maca blogspot.com. So if you're into the whole Paul is Dead theory and that conspiracy theory, give us a call next week and get in here. And we'll get into all that kind of stuff. Some people are laughing at me in the chat room here. Okay. But anyway, that's an interesting show. Then we have coming up after that, we have this guy who's going to do a show about the Skull and Bones. And then we have Dave McGowan's coming back to discuss the moon landing and whether the moon landing was a hoax or not. So let's see. The call-in numbers is 702-605-4894. To discuss our guest tonight and this whole Kinsey topic. Our guest tonight, I'm going to go back to my notes here. Some stuff maybe I didn't touch on. Yeah, the whole thing about Kinsey, man, it strikes me how we can't get an arrest in this whole situation. From what I know about how it works, with having this kind of evidence, man, this kind of material around, that it's definitely child pornography, and it's evidence of child molestation. So this whole thing is really bizarre to me, especially when she had all these connections in the FBI. Because they actually, when our guest tonight started teaching a seminar down at the FBI, they placed an order that they could no longer sell softcore pornography like the Playboy magazine or the Hustler magazine or Penthouse at the FBI commissary. They put a stop to that whole thing. So, and then after that, after her reports, this is our guest tonight, that 7-Eleven stopped selling these magazines. They stopped selling Playboy and Penthouse and all that kind of stuff. So let's see, what else? Yeah, man, Kinsey was involved with these, Bobby Boussalet, man. Kenneth Anger was the co-founder of the Church of Satan, and he was all hooked up with Kinsey. He was over there doing films. We don't know what kind of films he was doing. It's really not out there. But it was in Kinsey's attic, and Anger is connected to a lot of stuff. There's some reports that Mark David Chapman mailed Kenneth Anger some bullets right before he killed John Lennon. So, these are all the stories that are out there. And so who knows what's going on. I'm hoping also tonight to get a call in from oh, here we go. Mike Gray's calling in. Hey, Mike hears me struggling. He calls in. Okay. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Hey.
How's it going? Mike, we only got about 3 minutes before we break from some of these stations. Like we're dropping Hazy, we're dropping Talk Superstation, and we're dropping PSN. So what would you like to plug real fast before we drop all these stations?
Oh, nothing. I'm not plugging anything.
What about your business, infinityhomeplans.com?
Yeah, you read it. It's enough.
Okay, it's enough. It's enough. So, Mike, real quick then, what do you want to tell us? We have 2 minutes. What do you want to head us up? Oh, Mark Naniman's calling in too. Before we drop these stations. Hey, Mark, how are you?
Hi, Ed. I'm doing good.
Okay, good. So we got Mike Gray and Mark Naniman. So listen, guys, we only got about 2 minutes before we drop 3 stations. Then we'll do the after show. So what would you like to bring out real quick before we drop these stations? Mike first.
No, I'm just going to be on the after show, Ed, if you want me.
Okay, Mark, what do you have to say?
Not too much. I wanted to add that I think the Congress tried to investigate Kinsey in the Reese Committee in the 1950s, but they got shut down. But I don't know a whole lot about that. I was hoping we could have gotten Dr. Reisman to talk about that, but it's an interesting thing to look into. That they tried in the 50s, but it didn't happen.
Yes, Dr. Reisman agreed to do 1 hour. Okay, but
she's still on?
No.
Oh,
she's 80 years old. She's 80 plus years old.
Well, I'll tell you what, she really held her own on that Donahue show.
You saw that, right?
I looked at it while you were talking to her. I looked it up on YouTube.
Okay, I remember watching that when I was a kid. I watched Donahue when I was a kid, and I remember that episode.
And that one guy who goes, "Oh, delicious."
Yeah, well, he's one of the ones that admitted later on that they trained these pedophiles on how to record the information. It is,
and why that guy wasn't arrested on the spot.
Yeah, I know. It really is amazing. We're down to 1 minute, guys, and then we're going to be dropping these stations, and we'll do our after show. We'll take a little break first, then we'll do our after show. And but thanks, Mark, for joining us tonight. Ed, I wonder if good old Joshua Brookshire is playing his part right now with some music in the background and all. Because he says he's at this party and he's going to play the show with jazz music in the background.
That'd be funny.
I know, man. But he says it's going to be great. He's going to send me the clip, so let's hear it. Okay, I think we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
My producer, Mike Ray. Okay, we're good. All right, we're taking a break, guys. We've got a good 5 minutes. We'll come back. We'll do the after show. You going to hang around, Mark?
I'll hang out for a few minutes, sure.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a good show, good interview. Thanks for inviting me to call in. I don't know how much I have to add, but thanks for the invite.
And I'll ask you questions.
Okay.
I'll get you to confess. No, so she wasn't going to stay, man. You know. She said 1 hour.
I'm out of here, guys. I got to take care of a technical problem.
Okay, Scott. Thank you very much. Okay. Good night.
Not a problem. Yep.
Yeah, but I would love to get down there and check on her archives.
Yeah, she sounded up for that, so I would definitely take that opportunity if you could.
Oh man, we need the money. Yeah. You know, there's so much we could be doing. We got to get some kind of sponsor for this.
Yeah, who did she say she's sponsored by? Trinity College?
No, Liberty University.
Liberty, sorry,
yeah,
that's right.
What's his name? Jerry Falwell.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. I know.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to know what? See, a lot of people look at her as this kind of person like she's a prude, you know? But, I don't know, man.
Well, you think that about Playboy? Like, when you look at I never thought that about Playboy when I looked at a Playboy, you know.
Well, neither did I, man. But let me tell you something. When you look at it, all the cartoons she's talking about, you know what? We should keep this
No. That was Hustler magazine.
No, Playboy too.
Chester the Molester was Hustler.
Yeah, Chester the Molester, but there's other cartoons in Playboy as well, and Penthouse, that show all this stuff. I watched one of the documentaries today. And I saw them. Ann's back. How's it going, Ann? Ann?
Good. Glad to see Christoph.
Yeah, right? Is he calling in or what?
No, he just got in, but he just got his internet fixed today, so
okay, great. How's the finger?
Oh, it's fine.
Oh.
It's okay. It's all good.
Oh, good.
Oh, boy.
Long day, right? Never right.
Yeah, but I feel really tired today. One of those days.
Yeah.
One of those weeks. Feels like non-stop.
I know. Hey, did you guys hear Shake and Wake last night?
No, what happened?
Well, I had to cut Rick off,
We got
man.
fired.
Who got fired? You got fired?
Yeah, I had to cut him off,
Yeah,
man.
we got fired.
He started singing too.
Oh my God.
Okay.
You know how he breaks in?
Wait, you did a show last night?
Yeah.
You did a show last night?
Yeah, you knew about it.
No, I didn't.
No, I sent it to you.
Oh. That's what I'm saying. Are you doing 3 nights a week?
Nah, but just, you know, it was a nice little
He
place.
did this week.
Yeah, because no, you're right. Yeah, I did a show, 2 hours in Clyde Lewis, man. That was it was a long day, man. He didn't let me get a word in edgewise either.
What was the show about last night?
Last night was Truth Funders and Native Cry.
Oh, okay.
So we had Truth Funders all planned out.
1 minute.
Okay. But then Rick broke in over and over, right in the middle of my segment while I'm trying to promote my stuff.
Can't you just smell the beer on them?
Yeah. No, it's wine. They drink wine.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, boy. So what were we talking about that was interesting? I said the whole...
The Playboy?
Okay.
Playmaker?
Okay.
The cartoons?
Cartoons, yeah.
Yeah. Chester Molester was in Hustler.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I do too, yeah.
Okay, and 3,
Not that I ever looked at Hustler.
2, 1, and go.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report After Show. And the show is brought to you by Audible.com. You go to audibletrial.com And you sign up for free. You get a free audiobook, and that's help support the show. Otherwise, we're looking for sponsors, guys. We just picked up like 2 big stations, man. Late Night in the Midlands is a big station. So we picked them up. We're on AM, FM, and the New York area, tri-state area, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, all that kind of stuff. So you're locking these rates now, man. We need sponsors to support the show and keep things going. The other thing you can do to help us out is you go to YouTube, the Opperman Report YouTube channel, you subscribe to that. And if we can get like 10,000 subscribers on there, and another 10 times the views on there per day, we can build all that up, and that would support the show. Otherwise, we're going to have to go to a paid archive and an iTunes kind of situation to pay for the archives and to pay for the after show. Now, that's the plan, guys. So that's all we can do, because someone has to pay for this, and I can't afford to do it any longer. Okay, so we're here tonight. We are joined by Mike Ray from InfinityHomePlans.com, and Nine Fingers Francis, and Mark Nanaman. Hey, Mark, what do you do for a living?
I just do shipping and receiving for a little small business in Columbia, Missouri. But I really like to do a lot of research on the side and kind of dig into this stuff. Got a library down the street, and a lot of good information there.
Okay, Mark's in shipping and receiving, and the code word for smuggler, and he's down there in Columbia, Missouri. He claims Missouri, but we can trace his call. All right, guys. So we had tonight Judith Reisman, man. I think this is a real hero. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I had at Mizzou. I went to the University of Missouri, and I got a degree in psychology, and they really, I wasn't very aware of any of the issues that you cover on your show frequently at that point in time. That would have been 2002, and they really, they preached Kinsey to us. He was a big hero, father of the sexual revolution. They hinted at some of this stuff, but they didn't. No professor has ever talked about Table 34 and about the data collected on the little infants, and it's just I just find it outrageous that I stumbled upon that, when I'm close to 30, and I wasn't ever taught that when they were telling me this guy was such a great scientist. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, people like Donahue and Hefner practically made the sign of the cross when they mentioned Kinsey's name, That's how I grew up, watching Donahue. I thought he was a legit guy. And then, he had to have. He didn't want to put up that chart, Our guest tonight, Judith Reisman, had to force him, before she would go on the show, she says, you have to show that chart. And you have to pass it out to the audience before I'll come on the show. So when they put it up, the print was so small, no one could even see it. So she started reading it out loud, and she took on those man back. She's a woman, from the 40s. Yeah,
what does that say? What does that say about Donahue that he would still advocate Kinsey?
Yeah.
And know what he did to like a 4-month-old child?
And snicker. Well, no, wait a second. And
yeah, right. Yeah.
The smug attitude. Okay, we'll put up the chart because this crazy lady wants us to put up the chart.
Yeah.
That was his freaking attitude, man. What a prick, But I don't know, man. He's washed up now.
Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. When did you go to the Playboy Mansion, Ed?
Okay, I went to the Playboy Mansion. It was in the 80s. I was involved. This is before Viagra came out, so it was a really different kind of place. It was a very depressing place at the time because Hefner was totally impotent at the time for sure. And I went. A friend of mine had was doing advertising on the Playboy channel, so the Playboy channel was already out, and it was like 89, I guess it was, or 88 around that time. And I went there, to an event for people who were advertising on the Playboy channel. And I met all the Playboy playmates who live there. That's a job, to come in to these stupid parties and talk around to people. And it's a pretty rundown kind it was at the time pretty run down with wood paneling like you'd see in your basement, your uncle's basement in the Bronx.
Yeah, because, it looks nice when it's on TV,
it
the
was
grotto and the pool.
There's a lot of like a moldy kind of smell, it smelled like an old Vegas casino, cigarette smell, and the girls were like, okay, when you're getting off, get off anywhere, that kind of thing, and like I said, it was before Viagra, so Hef was like, in a rocking chair somewhere, he wasn't involved in anything. So, but when you first get there, you're excited, and it's kind of like this energy in the air. But then, when you kind of see what's going on, it's like, ugh, But then there's other guys there, these old fat, because I was a young, fit guy, these old fat guys, they're like, oh, this is the greatest thing in the world. Oh, look at me, I'm in F, in the mansion. So it was kind of, anyway. Recently, go ahead.
Did you see James Caan?
No, I didn't see anything like that. No, this was like I guess a Wednesday night kind of party with them. They bring in the advertisers and the losers, they bring in our bus to get in there. But anyway, that was my experience. But a friend of mine, Wonder Hussy went there to a party recently, Sarah Jane Woodhull.
Mm.
And it was kind of interesting too because she took pictures, all over. And in the bathroom, they have like a basket full of tampons, for all the girls to use. It's a crazy place, man. And then they got this room. It's right by the pool house, I guess they call it, with like these old pinball machines and stuff. It's just like it's a time warp in a lot of ways.
Right.
Yeah. It was.
Imagine that guy at one time, Hefner, Playboy. That was a big company.
Right, it still is. It's huge.
It still is, yeah.
Oh, Playboy's huge, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, he used to have, those nightclubs.
Yeah, well, he just had one recently too here at the Palms, but it kind of failed after a while. Yeah, but he had all those clubs. Yeah, he went to town. He had that Playboy key. You can get to the Playboy Club. It's a private kind of club. Yeah. I was on Clyde Lewis this week. And we were talking about the stuff with Jeffrey Epstein and Seville and stuff like that. And a caller called in, and she was talking about how she worked in the hospitality industry, and how when these hotels, how they have private areas and private floors and private rooms and stuff like that, where basically the guests come in, they can get whatever they want. They can order hookers, they can order Coke and stuff. And I said, did you listen to the show, Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. And I said, yeah, I can testify to that. Because in New York City, man, that was very well known. These really, really big hotels, the big ones, the ones where the president stays at. It's very well known that they got these private memberships that you could sign up to there and get to special areas and special areas at a hotel and stuff like that. Like a lot of people don't know that the Waldorf, Waldorf Hotel has a men's theme room. And like a men's gym in there, It's not advertised. You can't find it anywhere, but I've been to that steam room.
There really is like a hidden world.
Yeah.
For the elite, where there are clubs that aren't advertised and restaurants that don't, like they get to go to the back of a hidden section in a restaurant, like hidden rooms and everything. Like a speakeasy kind of deal.
Well, even like Rayo's restaurant in Manhattan, this old Italian restaurant, you have to buy a table to go there, And Bo Dietl had a table there for years, and he used to take like people like Bush's daughter, like the Bush kids, take them to dinner there at Rayo's. It was like a big honor to go there and get a table at Rayo's, and it's kind of like that here too. Yeah, no, really. And it's like that here too at Piero's. There's places here in Piero's. That's the restaurant that's was called the Leaning Tower that Tony the Ant, the Joe Pesci character in Casino. That's where they filmed that. And that's where Tony the Ant supposedly owned it, but it's owned by some guys here in Vegas. And it's the same kind of thing, man. That's where those cops, those New York cop hitmen, they were in there every Saturday night.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Mark, what other information do you have on this Kinsey guy?
Well, I mean, I just kind of perused a little bit yesterday. There's some interesting things. He kept a lot of snakes at one point in college. Like, he had his dorm room full of, I don't know, the books. It was one of the biographies on him, and they said he had like 20 snakes in the room that he kept, and then that was strange. I'm really interested in fraternities that people join. He joined the Zeta Psi fraternity, but I haven't got much chance to dig into that. But I think that's an interesting angle to dig into. One of the biographies mentioned a lot of the strange initiation rituals that people of his era had to go through into those fraternities. And I wasn't in a college fraternity, but I've talked to lots of people who've explained, or some people have explained, what some of the initiations were like, and they were pretty, so some of them are pretty brutal and sexual in nature. So it'd be interesting to know how that played into what Kinsey became. But he was kind of an introvert, and he grew up in a very strict, Methodist religious background. It's interesting how people, sometimes overreact against growing up in a very strict and repressed background. But if I think of something else, I'll jump in and remind you of something else I think of.
Yeah, we got a guest coming up in a couple of weeks talking about Skull and Bones, It's interesting, like you said, about these fraternities and connections people make, early on in life and where it takes them,
Yeah, definitely.
Well, they were just, like, his whole entourage. They were swingers, right? They were like wife swapping and partner swapping.
Kinsey?
Yeah.
That was my impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the guy was, the thing is, man, like, if it's a well-known fact that the guy circumcised himself in a bathtub, like, is that why I can't get a college position, or a career?
Well, it almost seems like since the 60s, right?
Yeah.
That's when Katie barred the door. They just let all these weirdos teach and, adopted their philosophies and ways of thinking,
Yeah, right. And if you look at Dave McGowan's work, that all that was by design.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And she seems to be
by design.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I had for her. I forgot to ask it. Was that has she ever read? Because she talks about how Kinsey brought in the college students turning against their parents and assuming that their parents were sexual deviants. They were keeping it secret from them, and that's what spurred on the hippie revolution, and that's what inspired their music and stuff like that. But she seems really tuned in to what's going on, and she knew all about Franklin cover-up, she was talking about the New World Order. So I would really like to talk to her about what she knows about Dave McGowan's work, and if we can even get those two on a show together, I think would be great, because it seems that all this is by design, and the Rockefellers too. Another question I forgot to ask her was that because the Rockefellers also funded the feminist movement, and so did the CIA. Gloria Steinem was a CIA agent. She worked for the CIA. And by the way, so did Kennedy's wife, Jacqueline Kennedy.
What, really?
Yeah. Oh, you dude, gotta look it up, man. When she came out of college, she worked at the CIA.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know, because this stuff, it's getting by all of us. But, we are getting some good stuff out here with the show lately. Making enemies at every corner.
But it just seems like the formula was made how to destroy the family.
Yeah.
And the United States probably in the 50s, and then it was implemented in the 60s. Right? That's when you had the sexual revolution in the 60s and everything, and the war. And they started putting, baby formula.
Right. Yeah, right. It was all at once.
Right. Yeah, right. All at once. And then, like, when I was a kid, when I was just going into school, they were talking about the new math. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what is this new math? What, and then ever since then, math scores, children have a hard time learning math. especially boys.
Yeah, all this stuff seems to be by design, you know?
Right.
And it would be interesting to know, like, who found who first? Did Rockefeller find Kinsey, or did Kinsey find Rockefeller? Because, you know, obviously Kinsey has some Satanist connections, you know? And, but then again, he's like a monkey, man. He's a zoologist and a bug doctor, an entomologist. This guy's not, you know, he's a nobody. He's not qualified to be the expert. Why wouldn't the Rockefellers find a real guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess,
Speaking of Kinsey being a bug doctor, there's some other interesting stuff in that book that I kind of came across. I was browsing that human behavior or sexual behavior in human male last night, and he had a chapter on. It's just weird the way he wrote it. He wrote it like a space alien or, you know, a demon observing humans. He's not writing it like he's a human. He's got this chapter called Animal Contacts. And the first paragraph, I wrote it down. The first paragraph is, to many it would seem almost axiomatic that two mating animals should be individuals of the same species. This is so often true from one end of the animal kingdom to the other, but exception to the rule seem especially worthy of note. To those who believe as children do conform to universal, any departure from the rule becomes an immorality. The immorality seems particularly gross to an individual who is unaware of the frequency which exceptions to the supposed rule actually occur. Hello?
yeah, I'm here. You guys couldn't hear that?
I hear you. I did hear something click, though.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, because Ann was complaining about my mic. Yeah, and also the guy, you know, Kinsey also too was a eugenicist. You know, he believed that.
Well, that's the common thread right there. Then that they're into the occult and they're into that. You know.
You know who else was a eugenicist? Tesla.
Really?
Yeah, Tesla.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Tesla, the hero of the alternative movement, was a eugenicist. One, and also, did you know that he thought he was from Venus?
No, didn't he say he got help from people on Mars?
No, Venus. He thought he was from Venus.
Oh.
You know, yeah, and you don't hear about any of that stuff, man. When people talk about Tesla, you know, but I don't know.
Well, you know, they seem to elevate. You ever hear the Feast of Saturn or the Feast of Saturnalia?
Some of that. Go ahead.
Okay, well, Christmas time in the medieval times or in Roman times or whatever, they would have that feast where they would take a fool and make him king for a day.
Yeah.
Okay. It almost seems like one of their things to do is to take people that are fools and put them in high positions, you know, and esteem them over the masses, like Kinsey, like Gloria Steinem. You know what I mean? Like Epstein. People that really have nothing going for them, and they put these people on top.
Yeah, Epstein does seem to be
and laud them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ann knows about the Saturnalia.
That's the word, Saturnalia. Yeah, I can never pronounce that word.
Yeah, I've never studied that.
Feast of Saturnalia. Yeah. Which is Saturn or Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ann, you there?
Hey, you want to contribute something?
Is she there?
I don't know. She can't push the button because her finger's broken. And our producer broke her finger this week, and she cannot push the mute button to unmute her mic. I guess she doesn't want to talk. So let's see. Okay, we're coming up to our break in a couple of minutes here. Oh, dog's barking in the background. She doesn't want to talk. But tonight we had Judith Reisman, who's the author of Kinsey, Sex and Fraud, The Indoctrination of a People, Soft Porn Plays Hardball, Its Tragic Effects on Women, Children, and Family. Now, Mike, you were saying before that you felt that a lot of these magazines, and so do I, you know, in a lot of ways, I never had a beef about it. I went to the Playboy Mansion, and you look at these softcore magazines, you know, like Playboy and and Penthouse and Hustler. And you knew about Chester the Molester, the cartoon in Hustler. Everybody knew about that back in the 70s.
Yeah. That was a pretty vile, for whatever reason, they would always put one of his cartoons, it took up a full page, and it was of a guy molesting children, or a child. And it was called Chester the Molester. And then, come to find out that guy was actually molesting kids, and he was convicted.
Yeah, his own
child
daughter.
molestation. Oh, I didn't know. Yeah,
his own daughter, yeah. And, but another thing, too, is when you look at her presentation that she gave at the FBI, Quantico, Virginia, the FBI.
Can I say something in my defense?
Go ahead.
I like Playboy, when I was a kid, I looked at Playboys, I wasn't really into Hustler or Penthouse. But I did look, there's no good way of saying it,
Well, yeah, listen, this, we were brought up, around that time, 70s, 80s, that it was just a normal teenage thing to do, to get a whole, right? But what she's saying is that it makes you impotent in a way that, you need this other stimulus, and how she says it, I was just...
It does put, you might say, it does put women in up on a pedestal.
Right.
Where men feel they can't even talk to them like a pretty girl, So, I could kind of see that there's that intimidation factor where when you see a real pretty girl in a magazine, especially like a Playboy Playmate, and they're all decked out and, that you feel like, well, how can I even approach this person, or a pretty girl? So maybe there is that,
Also, it's this chemical too. I mean, if you look at something that makes you feel good, it's because you're releasing opiates in your brain, which is the same thing that would be happening if you're taking a drug or something. So, if you abuse that, you're going to suffer the same neurological effects that you would suffer from a drug addiction. And I think there's a spiritual aspect as well. I mean, Jesus says that we'll be liable for judgment for even.
What?
That falls upon us.
Yeah, and it even says if your eye offends you, to gouge it out. Better off to, pull your eye out. Yeah.
But when you ever hear models say, like, real pretty girls that are models, or they'll say that when they go out, men don't ask them out. Most guys, that's what they say.
Yes, I've heard that as well. But you gotta understand too, there's a certain kind of women that just love to go to the bar and just shoot guys down all night long.
Right, yeah.
And then what happens is when they start getting a little older and unattractive, they will lure you in, and then shoot you down. they miss shooting guys down. But the thing is, what our guest tonight, Dr. Reisman, was saying was that this pornography, that soft corns, and like you were saying about this unattainable kind of woman, it kind of strikes a little fear in your heart, and the fear and the excitement of this unattainable thing, it creates a different kind of urge. It releases different kind of like endorphins in your body that is never attainable in real life, and that it kind of screws you up with the, normal attraction to a woman, or to a normal woman, which I can kind of agree with, There were certain roads in my life I did not want to go down because I know, hey, if I did this, I would never want to, it's going to mess me up,
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Not really.
Okay. All right, I'll confess and I'll tell you real quick what it is. Okay, one time I had an opportunity. Okay, we got 1 minute toward the break. Okay, so I'll tell you real fast. One time, there was a young guy, and I had an opportunity to hook up with a midget. Okay, a little person. She was a very attractive female midget. And I could, oh my God, Ant's typing away here. I know I'm gonna, and I said, you know what, man, there's something about this that's turning me on.
There's nothing wrong with little people.
No, but there was something, the attraction in this, okay, was just something I said, you know what, man, no. if I do this, it's going to mess me up in a certain way. What am I going to do next? I cannot do this.
You mean dating a little person would mess you up?
Well, it wasn't just a date. It was a real quick hookup. We could have just done real quick. And it was just, trust me. I knew that this would cause problems. But listen, we're going to take a break from a word from our sponsors. I think that might have been a mistake. We might want to edit this out, make this a lost episode. But we'll be right back after these messages.
All right.
Okay. More with the Opperman Report, and your host, private investigator, Ed Opperman.
There you go. Okay.
Brother. If you're looking for essential oils, stop by and check out Essentially Tammy on Facebook. She is Young Living Essential Oils Independent Distributor. These 100% therapeutic-grade oils help support the body's natural functions. You can click on her website, posted on Essentially Tammy, that's T-A-M-I, to see the current deals and check out the benefits of oils such as frankincense, joy, valor, lemon, thieves, panaway, and many more. Email Jocotami, that's Jocatami, @yahoo.com, or call 352-239-8546. That's 352-239-8546. Hey, don't forget good old Amanda at Pacific West Bamboo. Pacific West Bamboo, 503-839-8126. You can reach her at demroots@oppermail.com. Pacific West Bamboo, your number one source for timber, construction, and craft-grade bamboo poles, plants, products, and more. They specialize in eco-friendly reclaimed wood products for the home and garden. They're located in Portland, Oregon, servicing the Northwest for over 10 years. They can be reached at 503-839-8126. That's 503-839-8126. Her Facebook page is Pacific West Bamboo. They can and do ship nationwide, and they're currently getting a new line of bamboo flooring, veneers, and laminates made from Guadawa bamboo, one of the world's strongest bamboos, grown and produced and manufactured in Central America using only economically and environmentally friendly practices and standards. Good old Mike Ray at infinityhomeplans.com. Check out Infinity Home Plans and Design Services, your resource for 3D and 2D draftsman services. They offer a multitude of products, including stock home plans, 2D digital drawings, 3D models, renderings, and more. That's infinityhomeplans.com. Hey, don't forget emailrevealer.com. That's my website, emailrevealer.com. And we offer all different kinds of services. Current place of employment locate. Let's say you're trying to locate where your ex-husband or your ex-wife is working so you can collect on child support. You contact us, we can locate their place of employment for you and help you collect on that child support. Let's say you think that your husband or your wife is cheating on you. Give us their email address and we can trace it back to online dating websites and dating services. So we have a multitude of services on emailrevealer.com. Hey, don't forget the New World Mexican Women. Okay, and just Google New World Mexican Women. You can find their book where they first describe their love letters to their men and their sons and their uncles and their brothers who have traveled from South America to North America to work as migrant workers. But the women down in this town there in Guerrero, Mexico, they want their men to come back. So they've written these beautiful love letters, and they've put them all in this beautiful coffee table book. First, the letters are written in Spanish, handwritten. You can see pictures of the people writing the books. And then it comes on after that, and it's typewritten in English. And then also, too, the second half of the book is teaching you how to make authentic Mexican jewelry from these New World Mexican women. You can find their book on Lulu.com. It's only $19, or you can download the digital edition for free. That's New World Mexican Women. And it's a two-part book where first part is the love letters, and the second part is the making the handmade jewelry, the authentic Mexican jewelry. But you can also contact them, too, as well, if you want to get a deal on wholesale jewelry from Mexico from these women. Okay, and welcome back to the Opperman Report After Show. I'm your host, Private Investigator and Opperman. Don't forget the show is brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report, and you can get a free audio book, and it helps support the show. Now, I don't know what happened, but it seems to be there was some kind of technical difficulty, and the last 10 minutes of the show was lost and forever. And did not go out on the air, and will never be on the archives. So let's move on. We had our guest tonight okay. Tonight's a kind of truth or dare kind of confession night, or whatever you might want to call it. Hey, by the way, we made it tonight to number 3 on TalkStream Live once again. Okay, which is kind of a regular thing now. You know, we got that juice going on TalkStream Live. TalkStream Live is the ratings game. And the only guys beating us are like Michael Savage, you know, and Michael Savage makes like $250,000 a year, from one sponsor. So, what I'm trying to explain to you is the next ratings book, TalkStream Live, we're gonna be in that top 50. There's no doubt about it. It's just impossible not to. So you want to lock in those low advertising rates now, like Mike Gray did. He's a smart guy. And he locked in those low advertising rates, and he's pretty much locked in for the rest of my life. This guy's I'm never going to be able to work off infinityhomeplans.com by advertising. You know what, Mike? He's locked in. He's locked in. But someday he's going to be owing me money, man. With all these.
I'm here for you, Ed.
I know. Okay. So now, the last thing before we had that cut out in the audio.
Which never happened.
Which never happened. What were we talking about?
Phil Donahue being a wimp? He
was a pretty snarky guy.
Oh, yeah, I know that basically in the 50s and I guess since the 1950s, a plan was hatched.
Yeah.
And it's an assault on every segment of society to bring this country and the world down, it seems to me.
Yeah,
to destroy
right.
the family. Yeah, to just put everything upside down, you know?
Yeah, because even with the stuff that goes on, like at the Super Bowl halftime and this Katy Perry, you know, music videos and this Madonna thing where she has Baphomet, you know, dances.
Right, yeah.
And at the same time, we're
it's satanic. I mean, it literally. And I never watched. I'm not into football, but you used to watch. Who was that guy that used to those halftime shows? Waylon Jennings or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they fired him, and then the next thing you know, you're looking at like a satanic mass.
Yeah.
At a halftime show, you know.
And that they're going to pull the plug on Bobby Christina on the anniversary of her mother's death when they were throwing a party, you know, while her dead body's up there in this hotel.
Right.
The Emmys 3 years ago. So the whole world is upside down, you know.
Yeah.
And the average person, you know, the thing is, see, they can get away with this now because the average person would be disgusted by it unless they were totally desensitized by things like this Kinsey report, you know, which tells us like, hey, we're all perverts, you know, hey, everybody's doing it, hey, you know, oh, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, there are degrees, and it just seems like the elite, they've taken it to the extreme in their behavior, you know, with their eyes wide shut type parties and just what they do. You know, they're the ultimate extremists, and they look at the humanity like we're trash.
Yeah.
So what do you guys recommend? What do you guys think should be done to stop these guys from, like, stop people like Kinsey from popping up and ruining us?
You just have to expose him. You know, the truth. Instead of you know, when his name comes up, you just explain, you know, the things he did, and normal people will repulse and say no, thank you. You know, and then his name will be a curse.
I don't see that working, Mike, and I wonder sometimes about all this exposing that we're doing, that I personally do, this exposing that I personally do. If it's not feeding into that energy that these guys are using to get away with all this stuff, I wonder, because it talks about how these Satanists and these occultists, how they have to write down and they have to tell you what they're doing before they can get away with it. It's part of the ritual. And I wonder if I've been sucked into that, and by telling people what they're doing, I'm part of their machine.
Well, then why don't they confess that? Why doesn't Damien Eccles just say, "Yeah, I did it"?
That's a good question too. I don't know.
So then we have to expose him that he did it. That what he did, and stay on him. That no, you're not going to get all this fanfare. You're a murderer, and you eviscerated those kids. And not to celebrate him, but to shun him and curse him. He should not be celebrated, and he should be exposed.
But even
you're telling me that by you doing the things that you're doing about the West Memphis 3 doing those shows, that it's somehow helping or aiding them. I don't think so.
Well, it's something I worry about,
When people recognize him going down the street, people should yell at him, "Hey, you're a murderer. You killed those kids." Get in his face and, you're a murderer. Yeah, and when he goes to a restaurant, don't serve him. Bar him.
Now that's interesting because no one does.
Yeah, these people should be shunned.
But with OJ...
No, people went up to OJ when he was walking around in L.A. and on the beach, and a woman went right up to him and said, "I just want to shake your hand. I want to shake the hand of a murderer." Yeah, remember that? Did you see that?
Yeah, some people did that, but it was mostly like people want to expose him, but I think the average person...
Wouldn't that unnerve you if someone came up to you and let's say you did something and got away with it, and I just want to shake the hands of a murderer. It would unnerve me. Because that's a life where you're constantly looking over your shoulder.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Because it seems like a part of this ingredient to what they're doing, is that they want it exposed. And even Eccles, while people don't, they're not with tar and feathering him, he does come out on Twitter and stuff like that, and he's very open about his activity, man, with the sigils and the human bones and stuff like that, and his artwork and his tarot card reading and the Reiki healing and all that kind of crap he's doing. I don't think even he mentions Crowley, when he, the post about Crowley's birthday, so he's very open about all of that. I don't know. What is it? They want some people to know, they don't want other. Because the average person, if I would have told the average person about Kinsey, they'd say, "Oh, come on, it was no one knows about that." Yeah.
I think they want certain people to know who are into it.
So yeah, right.
They will go to them, seek them out. But I don't think they want it known. I mean, that's just like what goes on in the Bohemian Grove. They didn't want that out to the public, but it leaked out,
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Is how much of this being leaked out is by design as well? Because, we think that this counter-revolution, in the 60s and stuff like that was spontaneous, but how much was created as well? So all this stuff being leaked out, quote-unquote. I saw a thing on today, on Facebook, where people were making jokes about 9/11, It was a big joke. With spaghetti and, pasta sauce, on the, the building with 2 stalks of spaghetti, and there was pasta sauce in the middle where the planes crashed, and oh, LOL, but 3,000 people died that day, and what could very well be, we all know it was an inside job, but what could very well be an occult sacrifice. And now they've got it to the point where we all know they did it. It's in our face, and we're joking about it. We're joking about the murder, the sacrifice of 3,000 people.
Well, Yeah.
Which is no.
I don't joke about it. I mean, I don't joke about 9/11. You know.
Man, neither do I regularly, you know. But when you see that kind of thing, you know, and LOL, you know, it's, you know, I don't know. So I kind of wonder, you know, how much we're because we're all under programming, you know, whether we want to admit it or not. We're all, you know, it's too deep, you know. Like, and even with the upcoming election. You know, if Hillary is up there running, the opposition, they're not going to mention this stuff about Epstein. It's not going to be an issue in the election. They're not even going to bring it up.
No.
You know, because they're all in on it.
I used to think that people in the media were naive.
Some of them are.
You know what? I used to think Howard Stern was naive. Now I know. Yeah. Now I know he knows everything. He's not naive. He just chooses to look the other way.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's what it is. It's like they feel like, well, what can I do about it? And there's nothing I can do about it, so I won't even talk about it. And he doesn't, you know, he doesn't want to lose his money. Because when you come up against these people, you lose everything.
Yeah, I'm sure they have some dirt on him as well.
Yeah.
You know?
But what I'm saying is when you get to that position where, think about all his money is being, you know, and it doesn't matter if it's him or, you know, Glenn Beck or whoever, all these people, all their money's managed, and if you really come up hard against them, they just take everything away.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when Alex Jones went on Piers Morgan and kind of went on that rant about the Second Amendment?
Yeah.
It's like right after that he went on Howard Stern, and it was almost like he was, you know, Howard Stern was basically interrogating him about talking with Piers Morgan, and Alex Jones started like confessing all of, you know, it's kind of like a Kinsey sex interview. Jones started talking about stuff he'd done when he was 13 and like real graphic detail. It was really bizarre. Like it got so graphic I turned it off. I didn't want to listen to it. But
I heard that. Howard asked him, you know, have you ever slept with a black woman and, you know, all this stuff. And it wasn't that graphic.
Well, maybe it didn't get as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I try and be a little more careful, but yeah. I just thought that was strange.
And
it's almost like Jones.
And that's Sirius radio. I mean, that's satellite radio, so, you know.
I was just curious. I was wondering if he had to do that after, you know, he had made Piers Morgan look so bad. If, you know, he kind of had to do penance and go on Stern and kind of debase himself a little bit.
You know, there are a lot of people who think that Alex Jones is going toe pro and he's working for the system. I mean, I like Alex Jones, you know. If he is working for the system, he's fooled me.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. When I was researching the Epstein story, you know, I listened to all these different shows. You know, Alex Jones, Pete Santilli, and it's all the same thing, man. They're not getting the real story out there. Like, if you listen to any of those shows, you'll still think this is some kind of a lawsuit by girls who are accusing this guy of Epstein of raping them, you know, and they're out for money and they're trying to write a book. The real facts of it are not being brought out.
Yeah, but can I just say something about in Alex Jones's defense in InfoWars? They just repeat what's on the AP. They repeat what's on the news.
Yeah.
They're not investigators.
No, but if they're just shouting out all this crap over and over again, you know, I can't listen to either one of those shows. You know, I can't even sit there for 5 minutes. I don't even. But it seems to be that those are the really popular guys who just do the shouting, you know, over and over and repeating the same thing over and over again. You know.
Right.
So I don't know, man. But they definitely, they're not making any effort to get the real truth about the Epstein story out there. These girls are. The case is
you know, it's not even on Drudge Report anymore.
Right.
It's like it's just died.
Well, they, you know, and Mike, you know me with the false flags kind of stuff. You know, I'm very cautious about it. But right at the peak of this case, the next thing that happened was that shooting in Paris. And when they had those guys cornered in that warehouse, the magazine called them up, and they says, hey, what's your motivation? They said, well, we were paid $20,000 by Al-Qaeda in Syria to come here and do this operation. You know? Now, who could pull that off? Clinton could pull that off easily. You know? To hire, hire a guy on a payphone in Syria to call, Paris, hire these guys to go create an incident. And then have his buddies, in Paris, create a big news story about it. That can be pulled off. And I know your theory is, well, no one was really shot, no one was really killed. You don't need to do that. You just, just like in Iraq and Afghanistan, you can get these Blackwater guys to run around there and plant these IEDs all over the place, and to create chaos, which is the plan, which is what the General Wesley Clark says is the plan, to create destabilization and chaos in the Middle East. Have everybody shooting at each other, and it keeps the price of oil high, the value of oil high. And that seems to be what they've been doing. I don't see any secret about that, and it would be easy for Clinton to pull that off, to get the heat off of him. Now, why would they need to put fake bodies and fake shooting and blanks and all kind of stuff in a big media hype thing? Why would they have to do that?
Jay Wiedner has a theory on that. You want to hear it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, the Oklahoma City bombing, that was real. Right. Real people died. And up to 9/11. And his theory is the powers that be have decided that when you have those real events where real people dying, people have relatives who become a big pain in the ass and won't stop asking why, what happened. And they start investigating themselves and they become protesters. So his theory is that they decided after 9/11 to stage things and use fake crisis actors so that there would be no relatives of the people who supposedly died to protest and ask questions.
I hate to say it, man, but that sounds pretty good. That sounds like...
Yeah. Hence, you have Sandy Hook. Now, look, you have all the relatives of Sandy Hook who, they're not suing the government. They're suing the weapons manufacturers now. They're not suing the school board,
Right. There were two Malaysia plane disappearances. The first one, had a ton of families screaming and yelling at the airport saying, what the hell is going on? Where's my family? Tell us the truth. The second one did not have one scene like that at all. There was a stage where everyone sat there in suit and ties and had a memorial. And no one screaming and yelling about what happened. That's pretty, even I can see that. I don't know, Mike, you may be able to convince me.
Well,
Listen to Mark laugh. Even Mark's laughing.
I honestly think that the Aurora shooting was staged. No one died. Those are all crisis actors. The Sandy Hook, the Charlie Hebdo, the Eric Garner, the Mike Brown, those two cops getting killed in New York, supposedly. Those are all staged. No one died. I'm thinking they're staged and they're just making fake news for whatever reason.
What do you think, Mark?
Well, it makes sense. I could see it either way. I'll reserve judgment, I guess, until there's more information available. But yeah, I definitely don't trust anything mainstream. And what Mike was saying does make sense to me, that they would just kind of fake these things. And a lot of that Sandy Hook stuff is really confusing. If you want to think that some of those people actually lost children, and they're laughing on, I don't know how you act under stress like that, but I don't think there'd be a lot of laughing and joking around.
I could see one or two parents giggling and laughing, one or two, but all of them, at various points in the interviews, all of them are laughing, and then they go, we're going to move on. That's the first thing they go, we're going to move on. They all set up charity, what do you call those, charitable foundations. you know, and they've gotten millions of dollars. So I guess it must pay well, you know.
Yeah. But I can tell you this, man. I know Zimmerman was real.
So how do you know it's real? I mean, I don't have questions about it, but
yeah.
I'm just, you know, what judgments do you go through?
Well, because I was involved with enough people that were directly involved in the investigation, you know, that I can testify personally that I know it's real. Like, I know that Zimmerman was on the run for real. No one knew where he was. In the media, no one knew where he was.
Oh, I think the kid, Trayvon Martin, he was killed, yeah, sure.
Yeah, right.
But I wonder if his father didn't set him up. His father's a Freemason.
What?
Yeah?
What?
There's some theories.
Why would his dad?
Well, you know what's... Well, because they want to foment a race war in this country. That's one of their game plans, and it's failing. Thank God.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So it makes sense to me, because remember Michael Richards? He went on that rant about black people.
No, that's made up. He didn't go on it. Oh no, in the comedy club he did. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next thing, now he's a Freemason, and it just makes me wonder: was he under orders to do that? Because he or mind control? Because he says on Letterman, when Jerry Seinfeld was on Letterman and they had Michael Richards on via Skype or, you know, he goes, "This isn't a joke." He goes, "I don't know where this anger comes from." You mean to tell me a guy like that, who's been in show business that long, he doesn't know not to say something like that?
Yeah, but come on, you're at a comedy club. You know, I was at a comedy club with Chris Rock. He was a mess, you know? Like it was drool.
Chris Rock is black. He could say things like that.
No, but I'm talking about when he was on stage, there was like drool coming out of his nose. You know, he was
really.
Oh yeah, he was wasted. You know, and so are a lot of people. All those comedy clubs, they're all wasted. And when they get on there, you know.
And there is just plain old racism, not.
Okay,
you know,
but what I'm saying is Michael Richards is a Freemason.
Yeah, and also too, Trayvon Martin's father was a Freemason. There's that whole theory. I've seen that too. Yeah. I don't put any weight in that. Anyway, we're down to the last 2 minutes of our wonderful show here, the Opperman Report, after show, by the most lovable PI in America, Ed Opperman. Well, formerly the most lovable PI in America. We had tonight was Dr. Judith Reisman. She's the author of a whole bunch of great books, Sexual Sabotage, How One Mad Scientist Unleashed a Plague of Corruption on America. Go to the Opperman Report blog and check out all her books, man. And this is a woman that needs our support. And if you want to buy a book, that would be a great time to do it. We need your support as well. OppermanReport@gmail.com. We're joined tonight by good old Mike Ray from InfinityHomeplans.com. Hey, Mark Natterman, anything you want to plug? Shipping, receiving?
No, nothing to plug.
Nothing to plug?
Right now. No, nothing right now. But thanks for the offer.
Sure, man. Anytime, man. We love it. And we'll be, I guess we'll be dropping off the call tonight. I'm tired. I gotta eat some food. Next week we got coming up a couple of, Paul is Dead guests about the whole Paul McCartney. Was he dead or replaced or what? What's going on with that? We got 30 seconds left. Let's see. Anybody want to plug anything? Nobody wants to plug? Let me see. I'll plug something. Hey, emailrevealer.com. Go to my website. You want to catch your spouse cheating? Give me their email address, and I'll trace it back to online dating websites, porn sites, escort service sites, even gambling sites, all kinds of stuff. I can create a report for you. You can use in court if you're in a custody battle. And get a hold of me at emailrevealer.com. Okay. Good night. Awake. Wherever you are. We'll see you next week. If you're looking for essential oils, stop by and check out Essentially Tammy on Facebook. She is Young Living Essential Oils independent distributor. These 100% therapeutic-grade oils help support the body's natural functions. You can click on her website, posted on Essentially Tammy, that's T-A-M-I, to see the current deals and check out the benefits of oils such as frankincense, joy, valor, lemon, thieves, panaway, and many more. Email Jocotami, that's Jocatami, at yahoo.com, or call 352-239-8546. That's 352-239-8546. Hey, don't forget good old Amanda at Pacific West Bamboo. Pacific West Bamboo, 503-839-8126. You can reach her at demroots@oppermail.com. Pacific West Bamboo, your number one source for timber, construction, and craft-grade bamboo poles, plants, products, and more. They specialize in eco-friendly reclaimed wood products for the home and garden. They're located in Portland, Oregon, servicing the Northwest for over 10 years. They can be reached at 503-839-8126. That's 503-839-8126. Her Facebook page is Pacific West Bamboo. They can and do ship nationwide, and they're currently getting a new line of bamboo flooring, veneers, and laminates made from Guadawa bamboo, one of the world's strongest bamboos, grown and produced and manufactured in Central America using only economically and environmentally friendly practices and standards. Good old Mike Gray at infinityhomeplans.com. Check out Infinity Home Plans and Design Services, your resource for 3D and 2D draftsman services. They offer a multitude of products, including stock home plans, 2D digital drawings, 3D models, renderings, and more. That's infinityhomeplans.com. Hey, don't forget emailrevealer.com. That's my website, emailrevealer.com. And we offer all different kinds of services. Current place of employment locate. Let's say you're trying to locate where your ex-husband or your ex-wife is working so you can collect on child support. You contact us, we can locate their place of employment for you and help you collect on that child support. Let's say you think that your husband or your wife is cheating on you. Give us their email address and we can trace it back to online dating websites and dating services. So we have a multitude of services on emailrevealer.com. Hey, don't forget the New World Mexican Women. Okay, and just Google New World Mexican Women. You can find their book where they first describe their love letters to their men and their sons and their uncles and their brothers who have traveled from South America to North America to work as migrant workers. But the women down in this town there in Guerrero, Mexico, they want their men to come back. So they've written these beautiful love letters, and they've put them all in this beautiful coffee table book. First, the letters are written in Spanish, handwritten. You can see pictures of the people writing the books. And then it comes on after that, and it's typewritten in English. And then also, too, the second half of the book is teaching you how to make authentic Mexican jewelry from these New World Mexican women. You can find their book on Lulu.com. It's only $19, or you can download the digital edition for free. That's New World Mexican Women, and it's a two-part book, where first part is the love letters, and the second part is the making the handmade jewelry, the authentic Mexican jewelry. But you can also contact them, too, as well, if you want to get a deal on wholesale jewelry from Mexico, from these women.